So let's move on to the actual charges.
Yes.
Fraud here and,
theft, yeah.
Theft, thank you. Okay.
There are some problems for the National Prosecuting Authority if they're going to pursue this case, which we don't know yet because they seem now to be pulling back slightly, and they've been begging the Minister to make representations to have the case reviewed, which is allowed, which the National Director can do in terms of the legislation. But if the Minister is going to be prosecuted for fraud, firstly, it's going to be tricky because for various reasons, including the fact that the legislation, the Public Service Act, which SARS members are also subject to when it comes to early retirement, actually allows the Minister to grant early retirement with full benefits. In other words, where your employer, SARS, would pay the amount that you would have been penalized for if you retired earlier.
Okay.
The rules of the the retirement fund also makes it clear that you are entitled to early retirement with your full benefits not to be penalized. There are various provisions both in the regulations but also in the brochure that every civil servant is given when they join, to say if you do this you can take early retirement and your boss or the body that you work for will pay the penalty. Okay. So that means that it's not clear that any misrepresentation was made. This is bolstered by the fact that the Minister's own lawyer advised him that this was perfectly permitted. So unless there's some kind of smoking gun which showed that the Minister somehow knew that something underhand was going on, that he was trying to give somebody an advantage that he thought or knew or ought reasonably have known was completely not permitted in terms of the rules, because maybe he wanted to do his friend a favor and he knew that this was very shady. Unless there's evidence like that, there's not going to be conviction on this case either, because they're not going to be able to show that there was an intention to defraud anyone or that any misrepresentation was made